You hate Kyle
I
Kalinske.
hate Kyle Kalinske.
Do you know Kyle Kalinske, John?
I do not know Kyle Kalinske.
Do you know the
Probably a
show?
good thing.
Do you know Kyle Kalinske?
I don't think so.
Do you guys know the show Breaking Points?
Yeah, familiar with that.
So, oh right, because I was thinking that thing. So Breaking Points used to be Rising, which was on The Hill, and that's hosted by two people named Sagar and Jetty and Crystal Ball, and hilarious, right? And so Crystal Ball is a progressive, and
Of course.
Name right there. That's all I'm saying.
and Sagar and Jetty is supposed to be the conservative portion of it.
He wears a suit.
Excuse me, he wears a suit.
About as conservative as he gets these days.
He supposedly, they don't get into his own personal views, but they allude to him being socially conservative, which maybe means that, like, I don't know, maybe he personally doesn't believe in gay marriage or something, but he's not against it as a political thing. I don't, because they allude to it. I couldn't point to a specific episode, but they have alluded before to him being socially conservative.
Interesting. He's definitely
Traditional
not physically
family values or
conservative.
something. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they say that he's conservative, and when he was on The Hill, he was kind of. We've talked a lot of shit about them since they switched over because they're very much both on the left now. Crystal Ball much farther left, but Sagar rarely disagrees with anything that she says anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not. It used to be a very representative show of two people on opposite sides having a conversation and finding a place to agree, and now they're just both kind of agreeing all of the time for the same reasons.
With
and
whatever Crystal says.
yeah, so it's not as good. So
I think he's just thirsty.
she.
Because she's a very attractive woman.
She is. She hosts another show with a guy named Kyle Kalinske that's called Crystal, Kyle and Friends, and they're both very, very, very progressive. And Colin fucking hates Kyle Kalinske. He
can't
consistently complains about Kyle Kalinske.
I mean, one of my all-time favorite
What do you
podcasts.
not like about Kyle Kalinske?
I don't like his arrogant, braggadocious manner in which he is holier than thou, and if you disagree with him, you're a bad person. Or an idiot.
So
One of the two.
is he bashful?
Like, bashing people?
Yeah.
He's not that bad with it. Like, he's relatively... Like, he doesn't call people out directly most of the time. But I have a feeling that if he's the type of guy... This is the vibe that I get from him, right?
We obviously don't know him personally.
I don't know him personally, but like his presence on the show is really off-putting to me because he comes off to me as the type of guy, whereas if he was sitting down in this room, we would have a very cordial conversation. Everything would be great. He'd challenge us. We'd challenge him. We'd push back and forth, and then by the end of the day, he would have just played the part that he thought he was supposed to play at the time, and not. I don't get a genuine feeling from him. We'll put it that way. I don't get the authenticity that I would get from basically anybody else that I watch. Everyone else that we watch or listen to, that we've all talked like in the pre-show and stuff, I generally believe they're very authentic in what they're saying. Everybody from Crowder to Shapiro to even the guys like on Pod Save America and shit. Like, I think they're authentically idiots, but I think they are being themselves.
Do you know Pod Save America?
You think Ben Shapiro's being himself for sure?
Oh yeah, I've seen
I
him
feel
on
like
other.
he's saying some shit to get people angry. I feel like he's way more level-headed and reasonable in how he can reason. But then the conclusions he comes to on his media seems way more divisive and way less of his voice.
I agree with you. I have
Maybe that's
said,
just the take I get from it because I've seen him on so many other people's shows.
Well, I've said many times I enjoy Ben Shapiro more on Joe Rogan than I do on his show. And we've talked about there's a certain... I think that you're right, John, that there's a certain extent of Ben Shapiro playing a role on his show. He is going to be the most Ben Shapiro-y Ben Shapiro that he can be on his show. Yeah. He's going to do impressions. He's going to do all those little things that's going to make the little clips and the things that they can cut up and put out on the internet to make people want to watch his show.
Yeah, because he's smart, too.
He's extremely intelligent, but he doesn't do that shit on other people's shows. Yeah. He doesn't do that, like I said, on Joe Rogan or on if he's going to be on commentary or something like that. He doesn't do that type of stuff. If he's doing a conference somewhere, he's not doing impressions. He's making a very reasonable, very calculated defense of what his talking points are.
Yeah, because he's going in there as a debater to debate something.
Yes,
but yeah, watching
on
him
a show,
like,
there is a certain amount of social commentary to it. That's like
that runs pretty deep to
underline
his own values. But then you watch him on something like the backstage stuff they do, because I'm a subscriber to the Daily Wire.
Yeah, and I've never
so,
watched
I
that
watch
stuff.
all their different content and stuff, and about once a month they get together, and it's like, I'm good. Andrew
John?
Clavin, Jeremy Boring, like one of the main CEOs of Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh is on there. Candace Owens sometimes comes on now when she's around. And then they all get together and smoke cigars and kind of talk shit. Oh, Michael Knowles is on there too. But it's a much more natural conversation.
Yeah.
Like it's not Ben playing his part on his show.
Right.
To just hammer things, hit the conservative narrative, do all those things, which like I said, I believe that he believes 100%. It's just he presents them way differently than he does on all those other shows when he goes on. You could see him more as like the person there. But the values he holds, I think, are rock solid as far as what he believes in.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
But I don't get that vibe from Kyle Kalinske. I feel like if Bernie Sanders was to say something one day and then a week later he changes, then Kyle's mind's going to change too. But again, I don't know the dude. He drives me up a wall.
No, I think that's interesting.
Just kind of like Luke on the IRL.
Oh, on Timcast?
Timcast. Luke something. We Are Change guy.
Timcast is a good... Tim Pool, obviously Timcast. He does fucking they make a bunch of different content out of his
fucking
media
compound.
company. I don't know. Yeah, he used to live in Philadelphia, I think, and then when 2020 happened, all the riots and everything, he moved out of Philadelphia into the content house they have. I think is in Pennsylvania, right, or is in West Virginia?
It's in what's on the border? It's in Maryland.
It's in Maryland.
Yeah,
he lives in Maryland.
Like right on the corner there between Maryland, West Virginia, and Virginia.
He has a house, I think his house is in Maryland. I think the content house, the cast castle, I think, is in West Virginia because he has guns that he can't have at the cast castle that he can have at his house. So he lives in Maryland. The cast castle is this enormous house that he has that is on an enormous piece of property where all of his employees live and make content.
It's legit.
And they have a YouTube channel and everything. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's like
the Cast Castle is the YouTube channel. That's where they do like daily vlogs of like just shit going down in the house.
Yes.
And they got like a giant, I think it's in the basement of the main house. It's like this giant indoor skate park with half pipes and shit, and like out in the garage.
It's a 4-story
they got a bunch of other
house.
Stuff and it's legit, dude. They got multiple.
It's
studios.
just 35-year-old Team 10 fucking. Just going hard.
Yes.
It's the TikTok.
It's
house.
crazy.
It's the TikTok.
Yeah,
house.
and that's how he's running. That's how he's running all of that business now, is out of that house where his employees are living there, and he goes there to do Timcast, which is his nightly show, and he has Timcast IRL, which is the nightly show, Timcast, which is his regular daily show. That's like him in a little box of the screen, and then he has articles that he's going over. That's his daily show. The Cast Castle is a vlog that they do out of the actual show. Most of the people who live in the house have another show that they're doing under Tim Pool's label. There's like a D&D show that they do. There's another social commentary show that they're working on. They have the skate park in the basement. They have another smaller skate park in the garage. They've got all these fucking chickens that live there and a gang of
Chicken City, bro.
Yeah, and a gang of dirt bikes and motorcycles and all this shit. It's
wild.
It's weird. Yeah, it's like people being as free as they can possibly be in one area. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
It's very communist in a way.
It's absolutely the dream. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's
legit.
because it's great.
I want to
Hanging
say,
out with your homies on the half pipes, and then you're just talking shit at night and just making millions of dollars.
Yes.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I guess we'll record us doing anything.
Yeah.
And they created relatively recently their own private website to host all their content, the news articles, everything. That's the main centralized location for everything.
Timcast.com, right?
Yeah, Timcast, which I am once again a member of because I love all the content comes out of there.
Cuts like all the fees from like Patreon. Everything just comes straight to them.
Yep.
And all it takes is, and he actually ranted about this to somebody the other day.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about this.
Was it on the main? Was it on that big show with everybody?
No, it was the day after. It was the day after.
When it was just
It was just the one guy. No.
Oh,
it wasn't even him. It was some other guy, some other journalist.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they were talking about it, and it's like it takes X amount of dollars. You can invest a few $100s into a WordPress website, and you don't have to educate yourself on how to build it, but you can essentially build your own private platform that you own all the content, you control how it works, you can have memberships and do all that stuff, which we need to figure out how to do.
Even a subscriber plugin that you can pay for on WordPress, so you can avoid Patreon.
Works, but, I'm not that tech savvy, but yeah, it's dope. You could do that, or you can kind of go to the platforms where you'll have it's like the convenience of going to a platform where you just upload some shit, and then they take care of all the back end stuff, and you just get paid, and they get a little cut out of that. There was a big controversy. You guys heard of locals.com before?
Mm-mm.
I don't think so.
It's like a newer platform that has come out over the last few years. It was
kind of like Patreon, but for individual websites.
Yeah,
and
like
so
you get your own private URL with it too, and you control your own content.
People can subscribe through there, but then Locals gets a cut of whatever your subscriber fee is.
Gotcha, okay.
And it's the lowest cut in town, but it's still a cut, right? But so they hook you up there. But it was started by a guy named Dave Rubin. He used to be pretty big. I think he's kind of fallen off lately since he went to the Blaze and kind of changed. But he just recently sold it to Rumble, which is like the YouTube alternative that's making it out these days. Kind of pissed a lot of people off because now everybody's going, well, it used to be like if I had a problem, I just called Dave because Dave and I are homies, and now we don't have to now we got to call somebody over at Rumble. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But that's
Michael Mouse was on it. That's what it was. Yeah,
that's right.
And was on that episode of Timcast. That's why they were talking about it.
Yeah, there it is.
And so Tim Pool's idea and is what they're working on is starting a legitimate charity that will teach people and help people make their own website. And so they'll give you software that you can make your own website through, and they'll provide you server space that you can pay a one-time fee of $2,000 or whatever and forever own your website with a subscriber plugin and everything. You don't ever have to pay anybody else money. Nobody can take it down. Nobody can do anything because they host all the servers. And so that's something else that Tim Pool is actively working on, is starting this charity.
That's pretty cool.
To cut out all of those other competitors because the sale of Locals to Rumble made them all kind of nervous, It's very interesting.
It's very interesting.
The ownership of content, because one of the plus sides of like Locals was that you owned your own content. No one could ever take your content from you. And I guess it's the same way on Patreon, but there are some other content hosting services that you can go to, and if they decide to take you down, you lose all your videos and shit, and if you don't have them all backed up somewhere, like you should, obviously, but if you don't, then you lose all of the content that you made.
Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat everything.